Hey guys, in this video I'll be talking about arrays, and an array is basically a special kind of variable where you can pass in multiple values. You can pass in a lot more values than our regular variable. It's just a special kind of variable, and it can store a lot of values as well. So without further ado, I'll just show you in the code how it really looks like. So today we'll be going over arrays, importantly how to pass and take out data from an array, and we'll be going over some of the arrays, some of the methods that associates with arrays, and yeah, that should be pretty much it. And I'll just be going over some of the surface level of arrays. I won't be going too deep into it because this is a beginner's tutorial, so just keep in mind that we'll just be going over some of the very basics of arrays. So to create an array, I'll just have to type in just the way I declare my regular variable. I'll just have to type in var, and then to create an array called I love. So I'll put all the things that I love inside my array. So to declare an array, you have to have two brackets, and to put string inside an array, you just have to put inside a double quotation. So let's type in programming, I love programming, and put a comma, and then anything else that you want, that you love, and anything that you want to add, you just add it in this form. Okay, so the second thing that I love is calculus. The third thing would be soccer. So yeah, that should be it to show you the tutorial. So now what I can do is, if I console.log I love and then save it, Control S to save, if I go to my browser and hit refresh, I'll get something like this. This is a funky display, very different display than what we're accustomed to. Don't even bother opening this, you'll be exhausted to see all these functions. Just close it out, make sure you just open this up, and you'll see three different values, 0, 1, and 2 of our arrays. What this is basically saying us is that our array always starts with 0, so we have got 0, the I love 0 stored as programming, I love 1 stored as calculus, and I love 2 stored as soccer. So if I want to access the value programming, what I can basically do here is just simply put in big brackets after I love and put in 0. Always remember this, that array starts with 0 and then continues through, never starts with 1. That's a mistake that a lot of programmers make. So a lot of beginners programmers. So always make sure that it starts with 0. So if I put 0 in here, Control S to save, if I go to my web browser, hit refresh, I'll get programming. So I'm getting the first value of my array, and that's how array works. Obviously I can add in numbers here as well, 4, 6, and then if I console log I love and then Control S to save, hit refresh, we will get all these numbers values as well. So arrays, we don't have a limit to what we can declare and what not. You can declare literally strings and numbers in here, even decimals, and it'll give you the results. So that's a nice way to get around with declaring a lot of variables and to declare all the variables inside an array. So what if you just want to print out, you don't like this format and you want to print it out in a regular form? So what you basically do is you type in I love dot toString, and then toString is a method. What a method basically is that when after you type in something, if you put a dot and then you put a certain value and you put 2 parentheses, then that's actually calling a method. It's actually an object-oriented programming lesson course that I'll be going over some of the depths and details in methods, but for this video I'll just tell you that just remember that this is a method, and that's how you call it. You put a dot and then put a certain method name and you put parentheses. So if I were to Control S to save and then go to my browser, hit refresh, I'll get something like this. So this is pretty much a conventional way to show all of our arrays data. So that's one of the way. Now what I'll show you is how to pass and take out data from an array. Let's take out all these numbers. Let's just make it a string array. And let's do, so to pass an array, to pass values inside an array, what we can do is we can call a method called push. So push, and let's type in volleyball. Okay, now now what I can simply do is if I console.log and then I love, then I'll actually get volleyball inside my array. So if I hit refresh, if I save and go to my page and hit refresh, I'll see volleyball in here. So we're adding in multiple values, and I'll always remember that that if you use a push method, then it actually pushes at the end of an array. So now our array has 0, 1, 2, 3, 3 values inside of it. And if you want to take something out, you just basically do ilove.pop and then type in so if you do ilove.pop, then it should take out the very last element from your array. So if you do console.log, Control S to save, go to your page and refresh, you'll just see programming, calculus, and soccer. So that's some of the basics of array, how to pass data, how to take out data. And one more thing that I wanted to show you is how to actually know how big your array is, how long your array is. So you do console log ilove.length and comma to save. Nope, not a comma, semicolon to save, Control S to save, and then hit refresh. You'll actually get 3. Now check out the difference. Here, our array, I told you our array always starts at 0, so let's count this out. So it's 0, 1, and 2. However, our length gives us a value of 3. That's because length is an integer value. It returns an integer value. And almost everything except for an array in programming starts with 1, and we count up to a certain million place. But for an array, it starts with 0. But for length and everything else, we have to start with 1. So it's telling us we have 3 elements inside our array, not actually 2. So this is counting from 1. Always keep that in mind. So array length will actually give us the value of 3. Anything. So also, what you can do here. So this will be the last thing that I'll show you. What you can basically do here is, so this is 0, 1, 2. Let's say I want to add in a third value. I can do array ilove3 equals volleyball and console.log ilove, and then if I were to save this and go to my page and refresh, I'll get that as well. I would not really recommend doing this. I just showed it to you because if nothing works, then you can try this out. However, what if, let's just say, we don't count our array in the right order and say ilove5 equals volleyball. Now what's going to happen is we're going to have 2 empty data, and that's filling up our memory, and we want to use as less memory as possible while writing our code. Our code has to be efficient. So I would not recommend using this. I would recommend using pop and push to pass and take out data from an array. And this, you can use this to replace data. I just say for 0, let me replace programming with volleyball. So Control S to save, then hit refresh. You'll actually see volleyball. So that's how you can do it. You can replace things, but I would not recommend passing or taking out data using this method. So that's pretty much it for arrays. Next up, we'll be talking about loops, a little bit about if statements. We'll go to some more loops if we have time. Thank you.